Forest fire smoke. That's why it's so hazy.
What?
Alright, so our big question here that we look to aim to shoot for is how are high mountain glaciers changing? How are the environments around them changing? And how can we better predict and observe the glacier-related hazards in these regions? So as you see here, this is in the Cordillera Blanca, Peru. The folks in these regions rely very heavily upon these hydrological resources. They're the water towers of this region. And that necessitates they live within close proximity to these glaciers, which often increases their likelihood of suffering hazardous impacts. So it's really important to understand how they're changing, how they're evolving, because of these direct impacts on local populations. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to get up to these places and observe what's going on. So that sort of necessitates us thinking outside of the box, innovating new ways to get up there and tackle these really big mountains and figure out what's going on. So our team, the Mountain Drone team, seeks to advance the frontiers of science by engineering the first UAS LiDAR platform capable of operating in these high mountain tropical glacier environments. It hasn't been done before. We think we can do it. And we've got a really strong track record of success here in the geography department for, I think, setting us up to accomplish this. You said you like to think big. That's awesome, because we're thinking about as big as it gets. This is the tallest mountain in Peru, maybe the tallest mountain in the tropics. I'm not entirely sure on that one. But it's Huascaran, about 22,000 feet. That is our objective for next summer. So we are hoping to have this thing tested, weatherproofed, and capable of operating at a high altitude in the Cordillera Blanca, which you see here is the red star in Peru, blue. And in order to make this happen, we've got to figure out a way to build a drone that's capable of operating at these high altitudes, can withstand harsh weather, and can carry the sensors that we need to use in order to answer these questions, which include radar, LiDAR, and metric cameras. So we answer these questions by building 3D terrain models. I'm going to show you guys a couple of those that we've produced here today. But essentially what these 3D models of terrain allow us to do is figure out ice loss in terms of a volumetric analysis, as well as simulate different debris flows like avalanches, floods, landslides. This was the concept, and as you see, we've made a lot of progress. We're getting close. And the first step was putting together a really awesome team. And I cannot stress enough that this is the product of an awesome team. So I set out to build this team across campus to connect and collaborate with different departments, pull folks together, and now we've got 9 undergraduate students representing GIS majors, geography, both physical and human, environment, economy, development, and sustainability, EADS, electrical, computer, aerospace, and computer science engineering, and 2 graduate students, Ash here and myself. And we were all brought together from across this massive campus by you guys. Thank you so much, Sharp Innovation Commons, and here the Department of Geography. So we've got Nishay, Chief Pilot, we've got Evan, leader of the flight controls team, Ash here, remote sensing. Sarah, remote sensing. Michael, programming. Gus, flight controls. Jake, flight controls. Danny, flight controls. And Charlie, who's also on programming from the data analysis side of things. This is our awesome team we've thrown together, and we just launched right in. We hit the ground running, and we put this thing together in no time. We threw together that plan in SolidWorks, and after a lot of 3D printing, we're really big on it, and a lot of like almost maybe kind of getting electrocuted from tinkering, we've been able to assemble this guy here as well as our test drone here, and we've been really putting it together and putting it to use. So, you know, the most difficult part now has been learning how to communicate with these machines, speaking the same language as them, getting to know them, and it's been a really great learning opportunity for students. This is the brain here of our test drone. It's the same one on there, so we can code stuff and see how it works on this, crash this, 3D print new propellers, and try it again, 3D print new legs. You'll see that nothing is uniform on this guy. Crashed quite a few times, a lot of grass stains on the blades. So, you know, it's been a great opportunity to get our hands on. And here we've got our sort of test rig that we bring outside, and this is the two sister drones in the lab environment. Really fortunate to have Dr. Brian Mark's support. He's sort of allowed his lab to be turned into a drone shop. Really grateful for that. It's not always easy, I'm sure. And so what is this all about? What do we do with this? That's a really important question here. This is applied science, so we've got a goal. We have been working with the Columbus Metro Parks. They've graciously allowed us to use a quarry that they're turning into a park as a test site. And this sort of demonstrates how we go about some of our photogrammetry analysis side of things. We send the drone up and we collect data from all these different blue squares, image it, and we stitch it together using these ground control points where we take precise GPS measurements. After we do that, we can begin to see a rough terrain model. But we've been refining our whole process over the course of the summer to the point where now we're getting these results that are just unprecedented resolution. We're very excited about it. We've got it down to about a centimeter resolution, hoping to go even smaller than that. You can see that we can, at this point, check out like tire tracks in the quarry. We can see the tire itself. And it's amazing the transformation that we've seen using these platforms just over the course of the last few months. And we're so excited to step this up and move forward in the future. We were able to apply this summer with the help of a number of different resources, including the Department of Geography, the State Climate Office of Ohio, and the Western National Parks Association, as well as the Connect and Collaborate grants. We were able to send some of the Mountain Drone Team folks out to Great Basin National Park on the Geography Department's annual GBEX expedition. And we were able to survey the rock glacier out there, which is outlined in red here. And this is the flight plan that I was able to program that took altitude into consideration underneath Wheeler Peak. And sort of a look at what data we were hoping to gain, gridded data and whatnot. So it's a great environment for us to test stuff and figure out what we're up against for Peru next summer. And this is what we've been able to create so far. And I'm really excited to share this. It's the first time anyone has seen this. But this was our early initial model. It's very rough. Kind of looks like Play-Doh, honestly. But we've got these GPS control points, and we were able to collect all of this, with thanks to these folks, and as well as Jim DeGran, who's here today, John Morgan Manos, who's an alumni from this department, and get this sort of coverage that I think is unprecedented. And we were able to use a drone to collect this more safely than has ever been done before, and for the first time in this national park. So this is brand new sort of information. We use this to create a triangulated irregular network that we stitched together over a 3D surface and created this mesh that we then were able to process into a complete 3D model, which you'll see here in a moment. And what I'm really excited about is that we're going to be partnering with the Ohio Supercomputer Center here soon to process a lot more of this a lot more quickly, generate higher resolution models, and maybe push it down towards the sub-centimeter level of resolution, which we're getting really close to. And this is what we've been able to produce thus far. Very high resolution, which allows us to do volumetric analysis, and we'll be presenting next month after we run all of our test results to figure out what the annual ice loss is, which has direct hydrological impacts on local ranchers and ecosystems. and is a really great test site for us as we prepare to work with the Peruvian authorities next year. Another future direction that we're looking at is incorporating LiDAR, right? That's our goal. It's difficult and it's expensive, and we're really excited to be developing a relationship with West Virginia University, connecting and collaborating with them. Here's Ash here holding the sensor that we worked with a couple weeks ago with them, and this is the team that we got together with down there. They're in the agricultural sciences program, so shout out to WVU. Really grateful for their support. Look forward to working with them. And you know, going forward, the biggest thing that I want to see as a team leader is creating opportunities for graduate students like Ash and undergrads like Charlie from across campus to come together in new ways to innovate, think big, and make big things happen. And I know that that's going to happen, and I cannot wait to share with you guys some of the other awesome stuff that we are going to do in the future. And with that, I've got a quick outro video and some credits, and I'll shut up. Cleaned up nicely. So, thank you very much.